Hello and welcome back. Chapters 33 to 34 were basically like a recounting, sort of like a recap as we draw to the end of the book of Numbers. And in chapter 33, Moses recounts the Israelites' journey from the land of Egypt to where they were at the time, which was camped near the Jordan River on the plains of Moab opposite Jericho, just as they were about to take the promised land. He gives a list of all the places they had camped in order of how they did, so in chronological order. This is very helpful in seeing just how they journeyed and how an 11-day journey turned into 40 years, because obviously you know how they had gone with God, trusting him, and then all the rebellion, they were supposed to trust him, but then with all the rebellion, the time, God expanded, because when they got to that part where they didn't want to take the land, God sent them back, and then they wandered for 40 years until that generation died out. So at this point, the generation has died out, and they're about to take the land. And so this is like a very important recap. This is Moses speaking to the new generation, trying to give them, obviously there would have been a lot of like passed down oral history, but I love this because it just helped me see. By the time he started naming all the places, there's some places that were new. I mean, some things were glossed over, and then in these chapters I found a bit more detail. Did you? At the end of the chapter, God gives Moses instructions for the people concerning taking the land that he had promised. He commanded them to drive out all the people living in them, destroy their idols and places of worship. He told them to take possession of this and settle there, distributing the land among the clans by sacred lot and in proportion to size. So the large clans received a larger area and the small clans received smaller area. In 34, God gave the specific boundaries of the promised land. And I looked up the modern map defining, what the area would have been, because I wondered about it. I told you, I've mentioned before that I spent some time in Jordan over the Christmas holidays, and I saw some of the places of this time of the Old Testament. So I wondered just what the land was, and it appeared that the land at the time covered modern day Egypt to parts of Saudi Arabia and Iraq and Syria, Lebanon, and included Israel, Jordan, and Damascus. So that was like a real large area, as opposed to the small Israel that they have today. I guess that's why there's all that conflict and all. It's worth noting that the Israelites didn't occupy all the land that God promised them. And then remember the Transjordanian tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh, they occupied some areas that God didn't give them, that wasn't part of the promise. The land was divided by Eleazar and Joshua, along with the enlisted elders from each tribe. Now, the lesson that I learned about God from these chapters is that God is superior over all. He defeats all his enemies. In chapter 33, 3-4, it started by saying the people of Israel, no, it didn't start, sorry, it was the B part. The people of Israel went out triumphantly from Egypt, while the Egyptians were burying their firstborn dead, and God also executed judgment on their gods. Now, that just shows you. So imagine they were living with all that, and it was triumphant. I like that word because they were going out in power. They were going out after plundering the Egyptians, and those ones were just powerless and were just left mourning while God, delivered. So when I heard that thing, God delivered his people with a mighty hand, that's what it is. And then he also executed judgments on their gods. I don't know what the details of that are, but I can imagine that all their fake gods maybe all got desecrated or something. God truly is the King of Kings and the God of gods, and he's the one true God. So guys, how excited are you that tomorrow we're wrapping up Numbers, our 5th book in the Bible? I can't wait, and I'll see you here tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.